we are in a very strange place in Europe, in Britain, in our relation to faith. And for all sorts of reasons, of which we can get into, we are in this situation that a wonderful French philosopher called Chantal Delsol described as being in the situation that Icarus would have been in if he'd survived the fall.
Douglas Murray, a prominent British political commentator and author, has garnered significant attention for his views on various aspects of modern society, particularly regarding the niqab, a face veil worn by some Muslim women. His critiques extend beyond mere fashion choices. They touch upon deeper concerns surrounding cultural integration, social cohesion, and the interpretation of religious freedoms in a multicultural society like Britain.
If I hated Australia, hated the Australian people, hated Australian history, hated the Australian way of life, broke into the country illegally and spent my time trying to undermine Australia, why should I be in Australia? Why? What would I have brought the country? What benefit? What moral benefit? What financial benefit? What social benefit? The answer is, you'd have brought no benefit. So why just hope that those people are not in large enough numbers and keep your fingers crossed and put it off for another day? I think we have to start saying very clearly, if you don't like it here, go.
This video explores Murray's arguments, the societal implications of the niqab, and the broader context of cultural identity in contemporary Britain. At the heart of Murray's critique is the belief that the niqab symbolises a divide between different cultural groups within British society. He argues that the veil can act as a barrier to communication and understanding, inhibiting social interaction and cohesion.
I think that we live in a society where people do show their faces, where huge amounts of our social interaction depend on people showing their faces. I think that it's very difficult to enforce a ban in public places like streets, but it should be certainly a desirable thing to discourage its wearing.
To impose a ban, but in principle you'd like to see one because you think in Britain it's unacceptable.
In public buildings, in courts, in schools and places like this, absolutely, I think a ban would be very sensible. In streets and so on, I think it's difficult, but it should be societally discouraged.
Fatima?
No, a ban, I mean, I think it's a complete overreaction. Look, the niqab has been part of the British landscape for the last 20-odd years, OK?
Murray posits that while individuals have the right to express their religious beliefs, this expression should not come at the expense of societal integration. He emphasises that the niqab, in its most extreme forms, can signify a rejection of the values and norms that underpin British society. Murray's concerns are rooted in a broader discussion about the challenges of multiculturalism. He contends that the acceptance of the niqab can lead to a slippery slope where cultural practices that conflict with British values are tolerated in the name of religious freedom. This perspective raises questions about the limits of tolerance and the responsibilities of individuals within a diverse society. For Murray, the niqab represents not just a personal choice, but a potential challenge to the social fabric of Britain.
Including as a Muslim.
Yeah.
But let's just add one thing to this, if I may. The issue of social interaction is very important, and not just to me, but obviously to a majority of the British people.
Yeah.
What I say tonight, what Yasmin says and other people say tonight, people see our faces, they know who said it. I'm sorry to say this, but nobody knows who you are. They can hear your name, they can't see you. If I say something stupid on television tonight, people know it's me saying it. If you do, with all due respect, you can disappear and no one knows.
No, we're not disappearing. You
What
can
does
see
this
us
say?
here. Come
the
on.
meaning of this thing is extremely important to address. The meaning of this thing is women are by nature dangerous to men and society. Therefore, they must be covered, they must be buried. That's the meaning of it. And that's what I cannot accept.
Murray's arguments resonate with ongoing debates about cultural integration and the role of immigrants in British society. He argues that successful integration requires individuals to engage with their new environment, which includes adopting certain cultural norms and practices. The niqab, in his view, can be seen as a refusal to integrate fully, creating a sense of us versus them that undermines social cohesion. Critics of Murray's perspective, however, argue that cultural expression, including the wearing of the niqab, should be respected as part of an individual's identity. They contend that the act of wearing a veil does not inherently signify a rejection of British values, but can instead reflect a personal interpretation of faith. This disagreement highlights the tension between the desire for social cohesion and the need to respect individual freedoms. Murray's stance also raises important questions about the interpretation of religious freedoms in a multicultural society. He advocates for a balance between individual rights and communal responsibilities, suggesting that religious expressions should not infringe upon the rights of others or the collective identity of the nation. This perspective invites a critical examination of what it means to be a part of a multicultural society where diverse beliefs coexist. In recent years, discussions about the niqab and similar cultural practices have sparked legal and political debates across Europe. Some countries have implemented bans on face veils in public spaces, citing security concerns and the need for social cohesion. Murray's position aligns with this trend as he supports measures that would limit the visibility of the niqab in public life. He argues that such limitations are necessary to promote integration and ensure that all citizens can engage with one another without barriers. Douglas Murray's critique of the niqab reflects broader societal concerns about cultural integration, social cohesion, and the complexities of religious freedom in Britain. While his arguments emphasise the need for shared values and mutual understanding in a multicultural society, they also invite critical discussions about the limits of tolerance and respect for individual identity. As Britain continues to navigate the challenges of cultural diversity, the debate surrounding the niqab and similar practices will remain a crucial aspect of the conversation about what it means to belong in a modern, pluralistic society. Murray's views, while controversial, serve as a catalyst for ongoing discussions about identity, integration, and the future of multiculturalism in Britain.
Goes up, but I want to let you get through it. But I suppose one of the things I feel, and I know a lot of people now in Europe from the political left, right, centre ground, atheists, non-atheists and so on,